Sairam students, I welcome all of you once again. So as you know that we had started with lesson number 2, the living world. Shall we revise once again? So in the last session, we spoke about the process of excretion. A lot of waste materials are formed in our body on the daily basis. So whatever waste material are formed in our body, we call it as what? Excreta. So the process of eliminating excreta from the body is called as what? Excretion. What we call it as excretion. And one more thing, you know that all type of the living organism respond to the stimulus. Like we feel the sensation. So sensation or stimulation, it is felt by animals as well as plants also. Okay, so this process is called as what? Responsiveness to a stimuli. So what is the definition? Repeat once again. The ability of the living things to respond to a stimulus is called their responsiveness to stimuli. And as you know that all type of the living organism, maybe plants or maybe animals, they all produce new living thing like themselves only. So this process, what we call it as reproduction or procreation. So this reproduction, then excretion, and then responsiveness to a stimuli, these all are the characteristic of the living things. But students, have you ever observed all the animal keep on reproducing throughout their lifespan? No, it's not possible. At particular stage only, the reproduction process starts occurring. When any kind of the living organism, they are in their early stage of their life, they are not able to reproduce. So at certain stage of the life, living things become capable of reproduction, and after certain time period, that living organism's body, it starts becoming weak, and after that these organisms comes to an end. Throughout the life, the animals cannot reproduce, and once the aging process starts, organ starts becoming weak, then that living organisms death will occur. Okay, so when organs become weak and body is not able to work properly, when body is not able to function properly, that time the death of an organism occurs. Okay, so in other words, living things die. The lifespan of different animal and the plants, it is different. It depends upon the animals to animal, and it will depends upon plants to plants also. For example, let's take an example over here. Do you know that the lifespan of a particular dog? In generally, I am not talking about the different variety of the dog. Even in dog also there are a lot of variety. But in general, right now I am saying that in general, the lifespan of any particular dog, it is about 12 to 18 years maximum. Maximum it is 18 years. While ostrich lives for 50 years, which is the maximum. Okay, and do you know that the lifespan of the giant turtle found in the Galapagos Island in South America, it is about 170 years. Can you imagine how many years? 170 years. This giant turtle's lifespan. And do you know that on the other hand, the lifespan of this mayfly ranges only for just about 1 hour to might be 24 hours. So you can see that over here, the lifespan of particular individual, it may vary from 1 hour, or it may vary from 1 hour to till 170 years. So we can say that the lifespan of different living thing, it is different. Okay, so now you must have understood over here that even the lifespan, it is also one of the important characteristic of the living things. Now students, look at the diagram. Look at the picture which is given on the screen. What do you see here? a wall. And what else you see here? Honeycomb. Now observe this honeycomb and observe this wall. Can you tell me what are they made up of? Any answers? What are they made up of? Yeah, exactly. Now if you look at the wall, then your answer will be the walls are made up of bricks. So when we put on many bricks together, it will build up wall. Am I right over here? And if you observe at the honeycomb, it is formed by many small compartments. Okay, so you may have seen the small compartments of the honeybee. These compartments are joined together to form the honeycomb. So small compartments came together and they gave rise to the whole giant honeycomb. A wall has bricks, as I told you just now, and to construct a wall we firmly join the bricks together. Suppose if we just put the bricks together, it won't get joined automatically. As you know that we require cement also to join the bricks, as we use in the construction process, or you must have seen during construction process also. So what is the moral of the story over here? To build a giant wall we require small thing, that is brick. To build a big honeycomb we require small compartment. Exactly in the same manner, now my question is that living things are made up of what? There must be something. There must be small unit which is present in the living things, and we join all those small units, and those small units must have came together and they gave rise to the big living thing. So may I know what kind of the living things they are made up of? Any guesses? Like I told you, wall is made up of bricks. Honeycomb is made up of honey compartments, small. Exactly in the same manner, plants, other animals, we human being, we are made up of what? What is the small part of our body? Any guesses? So, living things are made up of the small unit, and those small unit we call it as what? Cells. Okay, so our body's smallest unit is the cell. Cell cannot be seen with our naked eyes. To see cell, we need to use microscope. Only with the help of the microscope we can see single cell. But when these cells comes together, they form a giant body. Now this giant body, it is visible to us. So now you must have understood that likewise brick is important for construction of the wall. Exactly in the same manner, for the construction of the body of the living thing, the small part cell is required. So all the actions and the processes in the bodies of the living things are brought about with the help of these microscopic cells which are present in our body. And in our body, different variety of the cells are present and their functions are also different. You can see here in this picture which is given here. So there are different type of the cell: muscle cell, blood cell, then bone cell, then nerve cells. There are variety of the cell which are present in our body, and when all these cells comes together, they give rise to our body structure. Now you must have understood what kind of the living organism are made up of. So all types of the living organism, they are made up of what? A small unit, and that small unit we call it as what? Cell. So students, as you can see that over here, some living organisms or some living things, they are made up of only single cell. Okay, so these cells we call it as what? Unicellular organisms. What we call it as? Unicellular organism. Uni means single. That means these animals do not have eyes, ears, or other different body parts which are present in us. They have only one single cell, and that single cell will conduct all the body functions. Okay, so What is the definition of the unicellular organism? Repeat after me. Some living things which are made up of single cell, they are called as unicellular organism. What we call it as unicellular organism. What are the example of the unicellular organisms? You can see here in this picture, amoeba, paramecium, they are the example of unicellular organism. So as we learnt about unicellular organism, there must be some organisms like us who are made up of many cells. So the living things that are made up of many cells, we call them as what? Multicellular organisms. What we call it as? Multicellular organisms. I am expecting that you students are noting down all these points in your notebook simultaneously. So, what are the examples of the multicellular organisms? Whatever animals you see with your eyes, they all are multicellular in short. If you see mosquito, that is multicellular. If you see cockroach, that is multicellular. If you see any plant, that is multicellular. In short, whatever living things we see with our eyes openly without using microscope, we call it as what? Multicellular organism. So the living things which are made up of many cells, they are called as what? Multicellular organism. So now I have listed few points here, but there will be many kind of the example, but few right now I have listed here for you. So what are the example of the multicellular organisms? Man, cow, mouse, cockroach, elephants, then banyan tree, then onion plant, etc. are the example of the multicellular organism which I put forth in front of you. But there can be more of the list which you can add here. So students, all the different type of the animals, all the different type of the plants, we learnt about their characteristics. Am I right? So now my question is that in what way these animals and these plants are useful to us? As of course you know that there are certain animals which are useful to us. We are dependent upon them, and even there are many variety of the plants which we use them. So what are the useful characteristic of the all the plants and the animals? Let's see once again here. So students, as you know that since ancient time in India, suppose if we fell ill, so that time mostly we tend to take the medicines which are written in the Ayurveda. So most of the plants which are present around us, they work as a medicine. So what are the plant which work as a medicine? I have listed here in front of you. So there are many plants are used for household as well as industrial purpose. For example, you can see that over here, Vasaka. Vasaka is commonly called as the adulsa. You must have heard about that. Okay, so Vasaka, that means adulsa, hirda, beda, asparagus. These are certain plants which are found in the nature, which are directly used as a medicine for treating variety of the diseases. Okay, and do you know that many of the plants which we consume as a food on the daily basis, you must have know that. Okay, whatever vegetables which we eat, whatever plants which we eat, okay, whatever fruits which we eat, they all are the plants which we consume as a food material. So few of the example I have mentioned here. So fenugreek means methi, potato, okra. Okra is the commonly called as the lady's finger. Then apple, then banana, they are used as a food. Okay, so nextly, what are the useful animals? I told you about the useful plants. So what are the useful animals which are found around us? So animals like dogs, cats, cows, buffalo are kept for the domestic uses. Domestic uses means what? The animal which we can keep at our home. Okay, so those animal we call it as what? Domestic animal. So at home we can keep them for our benefit, like cow, then buffalo, then ox, and then horse we can keep at home, not like for agricultural purpose, etc. Even dog and cat, it is commonly kept as a pet in our home. So these are called as what? Domestic animals. Now you must have understood the meaning of the domestic animal. And in other hand, you all know that fish, then sheep, then fowl, they are used as a food also. So now you know that most of the people, non-vegetarian people, are directly dependent upon the animals for consuming the food material. Everybody like fish, chicken, mutton, etc. So certain animals like even goat, fish, sheep, they are used as a food material directly by the all kind of, by the especially by the human beings. Okay, and here you can see that on other hand there are certain animal which are found in the nature. They are specifically used for the occupations. Occupations means for job purpose, for getting benefit. So like you can see here, animals like horses, then oxen, then camel, they prove to be useful in the various occupation process. So like in job purpose, to get us the benefit, we use these kind of the animals. Now one more animal which is very useful to us, that is the earthworm. You must have heard that earthworms are also called as a farmer's friend. Why we call earthworm as a farmer's friend? Because do you know that these earthworm makes the soil fertile. So when these earthworms are present in the soil, they make the soil fertile, which is very essential to get the good harvest. So that's why these earthworm, they are useful in the agricultural purpose. Okay students, now you must have understood the useful characteristic of the different animals. On the other hand, we spoke about the useful characteristic. Now let's speak about the harmful living things. As you all know, there are many type of the living things which are found around us, and they might be very harmful to us also. So what are the harmful living things? You can see in the picture. So mosquito, housefly, they are the harmful. Mosquito bite occurs, and these mosquito are responsible for causing malaria, dengue, etc. Okay, so some animals and the plants around us are harmful to the man. For example, you can see here mosquito and flies, they spread diseases. You know about that very well. So these animals, they are very harmful to us. So students, remember one thing: prevent yourself from the mosquito bite. Don't allow yourself for the mosquito bite. Suppose if mosquito bite happens, then risk of getting the diseases also increases. And one more thing, don't eat any food which is kept uncovered and which is surrounded by the housefly, because specifically these housefly are responsible for causing the food poisoning, and that's why we shouldn't consume food which is kept uncovered. Okay, and what else are the harmful things which we found in our home? Mostly you know that cockroach, then mice, then rats, they destroy our food. Even lice and ticks, they also spread the disease. Even so these are the organisms which are able to cause the disease to human beings, and even they destroy our food also. So you can see here in this diagram, cockroaches, mice, rats, they destroy our food, and lice, ticks also spread disease to the human beings. And there are many, you know, the list is kept on increasing. So you can see that over here there are many harmful animals which are found around us. So one of the harmful animal which is displayed in front of you, that is lizard. Okay, wall lizard is very scary, no? And even you can see the scorpio also. So even this scorpio and this wall lizard, they are very harmful. So the bites of some poisonous lizards, spiders, snakes, scorpion, even they can cause death of an individual. So which are the animal who causes the death of an individual? Lizard, spider, snakes, scorpio, they can cause death of an individual. If wild elephant enter the human settlements, they also cause a lot of destruction. So that's why we shouldn't allow wild animals to enter in our vicinity. So even this wild elephant, even they may cause damage to the human settlements. Okay, students? So as we spoke about the harmful animals, there are certain harmful plants also which are found around us. So some harmful plants which are displayed in front of you, you can see here dodder, then parthenium and other plants, they are the harmful plants. You can see that over here dhatura is one of the plant, and then colocasia leaves, it is also the harmful one. So even these plants are very harmful to the other animals which are found around us, and even if we come in contact with this kind of the plant, we will get itching sensation. We will get itching sensation and our body will get rashes all over the body. So that's why we need to avoid ourselves in being contact with them. So that's why we have to be stay away from all kind of these plants. So you can see that over here, pods of the nettle, colocasia leaves causes the itching. Plants like oleander, lantana have the strong odor. The datura plant is also the poisonous. The uncontrolled growth of the fungi and algae in water pollutes the drinking water, and even it may cause the spread of the diseases. And that's the reason, students, we need to drink clean water. Okay, if the water is contaminated, then we should avoid such water. And for that purpose, now rainy season is started. So what you have to do, suppose if you find that at your place the water is contaminated, so either you can filter the water, and otherwise the best way, boil the water. So when you boil the water for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever harmful things which are present in the water, they will be dead, and then that water will be safe to consume. Okay, students? Along with harmful animals, even these are the harmful animal, these are the wild animal. These animal we can see them, but we will get scared if they come suddenly in front of us, because these animals have tendency to attack on us. So even they cause immediate death of any kind of the living organism which will be near to them. So wild animals that hunt other animals for food, they are called as what? Predators. What we call it as them? Predator. So like you can see that this tiger, leopard and then lion, they can't prepare their own food, and they don't consume plants as a food. So these animals, they consume small animals as a food material. Okay, so these animal we call it as what? Predator. What we call it as? Predator. So who are the predator? Tiger, lion, wolves and leopard, these are the example of the wild animals. And do you know that sometimes due to the deforestation, such animals enter the human settlements in search of the food and may kill domestic animal or the people. Now you must have heard about a lot of news that tiger is coming in our vicinity, lion is coming in our vicinity, the leopard is coming in the cities, etc. The leopard is entering into the malls, etc. Why such thing is occurring? We are responsible for that. These wild animals require forest to live. For our benefit, we are destroying the forest. So if we destroy their home, so of course to get the food material, they will come to our settlement. And that's why to get the food, if we destroy the forest, they won't get any kind of the food. And to obtain the food, in search for the food, these animals, they will come in the cities. Okay, so that's why we shouldn't do the deforestation. We have to save the forest in order to save these animals, as well as to keep ourselves free from these animals. Otherwise they will cause damage to us also. So students, So far, what we learned today in the whole session here? So far, we learnt about the characteristic of the living things in this topic. So what are the characteristic of the living things till now we learnt? We learnt about growth, photosynthesis, respiration, excretion, responsiveness to a stimuli, reproduction. These all are the characteristic of the living things. And these characteristics are not found in the non-living thing, they are only present in the living things. And what else we learned today? Today we spoke about the useful things like useful animals, useful plants, and then wild animal, and then the harmful animals and the harmful plants. I hope so you must have understood the topic. We have finished the lesson number 2, living world. So in the next session we will meet with new chapter. Till then, see you. Bye. Take care.